What's up, guys? This is Jason Fichera. We're out here at Perris Raceway testing out a new line of Maxxis tires. I'm here with Justin, the lead engineer of tire development for Maxxis USA. Justin, tell us a little bit about you guys' new line of tires.
Well, we got a new product line, MXSI and MXIH. This is our next generation motorcycle tire that we did in development with Jeremy McGrath.
Right on. Jeremy McGrath, 7, 8, however many times Supercross champion. So you guys had a good leader in tire development, that's for sure. Kind of explain to me a little bit about, on the technical side, what was your goal with this new line of tires? How are they different from each other? How are they different from the old generation of tires?
Well, I think just going back, we had our MXIT, and I think that was a time where I found out that Jeremy was on our Lucas Oil Pro 4 program, and it just dawned on me, it kind of clicked like, well, we should probably use them for development for motorcycle tires. And so this was about the time where we were looking to develop a next generation motorcycle tires for motocross, and just being able to have them on board has definitely given us some insight and some knowledge that we didn't have before.
So what kind of weaknesses did you guys see in your old tires that you wanted to improve on with this new line?
Well, I think the weakness we had from the previous generation, maybe it was too focused on, just one particular terrain. The soft terrain, intermediate, and hard, and I'm sure everyone knows, like, you get a mixture of that at any type of track. So you want to be able to blend some of that, soft intermediate or hard intermediate, and just be able to tackle multiple types of terrains in one track.
Right. And even not even going from track to track, even on a day like today, we started out here this morning, the track was pretty deep, sort of muddy, and then you can see in the background here, it's a warm day here out in Southern California. The track gets dry, it gets hard. So switching out between a paddle that I was running this morning and then over to the soft intermediate and now over to the intermediate hard, you can really tell that each of these tires is definitely suited for a certain track condition. So I think the goal there was well accomplished, I would say.
Yeah, and I think just adding on to like what we made some changes, with the front for the XST, it was a little bit knobby, and so we wanted to strengthen the blocks in the front tread pattern, kind of give it a little more rigidity. And then for the rear tire, the same thing as well, kind of add some bridges in between the transition blocks to give it a little bit more better traction. And then for the MXIH, just give it a better contact patch, definitely like square front knobs. And for the rear tire, we also changed the construction, give it a little bit more supple feel. I know Jeremy likes a very compliant tire.
When you guys designed these tires, did you have racing in mind? Did you guys have the average rider, the weekend warrior? What was your guys' thought process?
Definitely both. Jeremy definitely has a lot of experience on the racing side, and then we also utilized Pat Foster, who is very well versed in his feedback, and definitely can give the average consumer feedback.
So from a rider's perspective, I personally, before last week, haven't spent much time on Maxxis. I think the last time I rode a Maxxis tire was about a year ago or so, and they were good back then for sure, but this new line of tires is really good. The first thing that I really noticed was, compared to what I'm used to, which is I kind of run a lot of different stuff, Dunlop, Pirelli, sort of whatever ends up on my bike is what I run. And compared to any other tire, something that really, really stood out to me was transitioning from maybe being straight up coming into a corner or coming out of a corner into another one. These tires, really all three of them, the paddle, the intermediate, and the hard terrain, they all roll very well from side to side. And for me, that felt like a really smooth transition from a left lean to a right lean per se, or even just coming into a turn where maybe I didn't pick the greatest entry line, and I'm kind of coming into it maybe straight on, and it's a little bit of a tight rut. It doesn't really feel like an issue for me to get this big 450 leaned over. And coming out of the ruts, same thing. When I want to transition from the lean back up, it feels really good. A lot easier, I would say, than what I'm used to. Is that something that you guys had in mind when you were developing the tire?
Definitely. I think Jeremy definitely liked that transition, be able to come out of the ruts or coming out of the corners and attacking it very quickly, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So where did you guys do the majority of tire testing? Was it here in Southern California?
Yeah, we did Lake Elsinore. We also did Cahuilla and maybe once or twice at Glen Helen, but I think majority was Lake Elsinore and Cahuilla.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me, because another thing that I felt was when it was a flat, really hard pack corner, kind of like what we get at the end of the day at really any Southern California track out here, it didn't really feel like a tire that needed to slide when there was no rut, where some other tires, especially rear, you don't really slide the front too much, but especially other rear tires that I have experience with, when it's really hard and there's no good rut to bank off of, they don't feel like you can trust them when you lean it over without getting a little bit of a drift in them, where certainly that's not something that you can't do on these tires, but it didn't feel like it was necessary for me to do that. And I really like that, because I can get into a corner and I can kind of just lean it over and sort of just trust that that thing is not going to blow out on me, or not going to really force me into a drift, sort of like some other tires that I've been riding with. Thank you, Justin, for coming here and explaining all the tires to us.
Appreciate it.
Thanks everyone for watching Whiskey Throttle Media, and thank you to Perris Raceway for hosting a great day out here. Thank you to Maxxis Tires, and we'll see you guys next time. Stay tuned for more.